Have you ever imagined how a single secret glance or whispered conversation could snowball into total chaos, destroying everything you hold dear? What if I revealed that even the most ordinary marriage can hide explosive betrayals that change lives forever? Hang on tight, because this raw confession of infidelity, deception, and heartbreaking consequences will grip you right to the shocking end. You'll be left pondering your own choices long after it's over. I never imagined I'd become the woman everyone murmurs about under their breath. The type whose name causes hushed tones at elegant gatherings. The sort that draws strange looks from neighbors once the truth leaks out. The one transformed into a cautionary story instead of just an everyday individual. But here I am, sharing this account since there's no other place to unload the honest details. I'm Leona. For 6 strong years I was married, and I shattered the union without realizing the damage until it was far too gone. From the outside, my existence appeared sleek and well-assembled. The variety that sparks envy in others, who remain unaware of the deep fractures lurking beneath. I managed property sales, marketing coastal homes, dressed in fitted clothes and heels that clicked with assurance across polished wood surfaces. Mark and I shared a lovely home, not over-the-top fancy but sturdy, cozy, and secure. Mark had pieced together his own auto shop from scratch. Oil stains on his hands, that fierce determination shining in his gaze. He mended motors like some guys repair broken dreams, steady with patience, never chasing cheers or praise. For quite a while that satisfied me just fine. Until one day it fell short. I'm not sure exactly when that nagging unrest shifted into a sense of deserving more. It didn't hit all at once. It sneaked up during those long nights over simple meals where Mark chatted about engine parts and grumpy clients, while I half tuned in, flicking through property ads on my device, quietly building up bitterness over how routine everything had become. I convinced myself I was driven, that I craved bigger things, that I'd hustled too much to settle for this dull routine. Mark stayed the same steady guy, and somehow that turned into the big issue. The housing market was exploding. Mixers, meals with buyers, cocktails that flowed into chats that sparked real notice. Guys paid attention to me in ways Mark hadn't in ages. They didn't cut in with fix-it ideas. They skipped talks of expenses or busted machines. Instead, they called me sharp, captivating, too good for this quiet little spot. Enter Kirk Bowers. We crossed paths at a tavern after a house tour. Murphy's Pub, him in a pricey outfit amid the scent of stale drinks and worn timber. He stuck out, and I admired how he owned that anyway. Kirk dealt in money matters. Fancy terms, even bolder attitude. He quizzed me on my sales, my dreams, my future steps. He focused on who I was. That first chat, I rolled in late and spun a yarn to Mark about a buyer session dragging on. Guilt didn't hit me then. It seemed innocent, almost work-related. The next one buzzed with thrill. By the third, I fully grasped my actions, and pushed ahead regardless. Kirk stirred up this sense that I teetered on the brink of something grander. Like my days with Mark were just a rough sketch, and he dangled the polished final piece. He raved about stocks, luxury pads, eateries without price tags listed. He spoke of us as if it was bound to happen. I bought into the idea that I earned every bit of it. I reasoned that Mark couldn't grasp my scene anymore. That he dragged me down without trying. That real affection shouldn't feel so limited. The fibs turned every day. Extended buyer huddles, urgent viewings, business suppers. Mark never snooped on my gadget. Never doubted my timetable. He believed in me fully, and I returned that faith by honing my T-marks. I'd sneak back at 2 a.m., shoes dangling from my fingers, tiptoeing softly over those wooden planks. I figured I played it smart. I thought I had it all covered. Little did I know Mark lay awake hearing it all each time. The first hint of trouble popped up when Mark mentioned Murphy's Pub. He noted somebody spotted me there alongside a dude in a sharp suit. My pulse raced to my neck, but I bounced back quick. I always did. I claimed Kirk was a prospect, a money guy. Just building connections. Mark didn't push back. That should have rattled me more than any outburst. But no, I breathed easy. That ease bloomed into boldness. Boldness slid into carelessness. Kirk and I shifted to city hotels' low-key spots. I swiped the shared plastic without a second guess. It seemed fake, like pretend cash, as if Mark's hard-earned stash was some vague idea rather than decades of his sweat under hoods and parts. I promised myself I'd square it up. I swore things would even out after ditching Mark and starting over. That sat in my thoughts, unspoken but real. When Mark hit me with those hotel slips, panic surged. Not from regret, but from getting busted. I wept, claimed I had reasons, said I cared for him. I leaned in like old habit, betting on routine to bail me out. He skipped the screams. That cut deeper than any rage. When he declared he was tired of faking it, a piece of me broke. Not sorrow, not shame, pure dread. I saw then that Mark wasn't the laid-back, oblivious spouse I'd painted him as in my head. He observed, plotted, slipped away without noise. Yet I believed I could steer the chaos. I sold him short. What blindsided me was the speed of the downfall. In mere days my device lit up constantly. Buddies checking if I held up. Workmates bailing on meals. Buyers delaying agreements. Murmurs trailed me at the job. Chats halted as I stepped in. My standing, the core of who I saw myself as, frayed apart. I pointed fingers at Mark. Naturally. I hadn't grasped his full knowledge yet. I hadn't seen his next moves. I just sensed the backup plan I'd relied on vanishing right under me. And the kicker? Kirk began fading. No picks up on calls. Replies shrunk. He turned swamped overnight. The guy who'd vowed a grander path now backed off from the tangle he'd co-created. That's when true alarm kicked in. I got that I no longer balanced two paths. I stood solo and the drop hadn't even hit bottom. The morning my banking tool froze on refresh, red flags waved. At first, glitch city. My gadget had glitched all dawn. Parked outside Coastal Realty, motor humming, I skimmed messages before heading inside. Tried the app once more. Still zilch. Shut it, relaunched, keyed my code deliberate this round. The spinner twirled extra long and when digits popped, my belly sank. Savings showed near zero. I glared at the display like it stabbed me personally. That cash was a mere backup. Meant safety. The buffer I'd secretly eyed for my soft landing postmark. The funds for fresh starts. I assured myself answers existed. A shift, a hold-up, an error. But inside I knew I dipped into it. Not in one swoop. Too blatant. I'd pulled sly. Tiny pulls, scattered dates, always below radar. I called it short-term, vowing payback once Kirk and I sorted life. Kirk had hinted not outright. Too clever. He probed. How's the nest egg with Mark? Shared? Easy grab? I'd spilled without pause like chit-chat. He grinned and advised, guard your back. Don't exit empty-handed. I took it as worry. Now doubt swirled. I strode into work acting fine. Grinned at Ashley up front, fielded rings, toured spots, closed a shore condo deal that day like my world stayed intact. Come evening, Mark stayed mute toward me. Whipped up supper, munched in peace, skipped my daily recap. That hush weighed more than blame. I tried convincing myself he missed the cash clue, that time remained, that my smooth talk would win like always. Then calls poured in. A buyer axed a sale. Another pushed off forever. One straight up said she'd switch gears. By week's end, Robert Davidson summoned me. No grin. Leona, he uttered cautiously. Issues brewing. He pushed docs over the table, bank logs, timelines, stamps. My ribs squeezed. He mentioned Mark dropped in, quizzing. Talked forged signs, swipes, cop tips. Heat flushed my cheeks. I spun excuses. Doc snafus, pressure, crossed wires. Davidson let me ramble. Worse than stopping me. Once done, he exhaled, reclined. You're a star seller, Leona, but this? It risks the whole outfit. I bobbed my head, said sorry, swore fixes. He offered zilch in return. That night I rang Kirk. Silence. Messaged once, twice, thrice. His reply dragged hours. Hey, stuff's messy now. Let's pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. My existence crumbled and he aimed to ease off. That evening, I headed straight to Murphy's pub, not to link up with him, but simply because no other spot came to mind. The place seemed tinier than in my memories, noisier, stripped of any shine. Folks glanced my way in odd ways. Or perhaps that was all in my head. I grabbed a cocktail and just gazed into the glass, pondering how it all spiraled out of control so swiftly. Right then, a Facebook update caught my eye. Sienna had looped me in. A snapshot of Kirk and me from a dinner spot a few weeks back, his hand wrapped around my side, my face leaning close to his, beaming as if no spouse sat waiting back home. Her words underneath spoke of chasing your true feelings, embracing fresh starts. Nausea hit me hard. In no time, hearts and replies flooded in. Some cheered me on, others probed with questions, plenty threw shade without hiding it. No turning back from this mess now. I cruised home without a sound, practicing lines for Mark. Sorries, reasons, even sobs if needed. But stepping inside, he was gone. Lights glowed, food sat cold and ignored, screen on mute. The whole space hung like it awaited a final judgment. When Mark strolled in at last, he appeared way too steady, almost unnaturally so. I quizzed if he'd caught wind of the buzz about me. He fired back asking if I grasped what faking a signature meant. The clash didn't blow up wild. It just caved in. I owned up to grabbing the cash. Tried spinning it right. Explained I craved some safety net. That fear gripped me tight. That Kirk had swayed my choices. Mark took it all in like storing facts for later, no big reactions. When I pushed for what he expected from me, silence stretched before his reply. That chilled me deeper than any fury. The following days melted into a haze. More buyers backed out, calls dried up. Soft talk shifted to bold inquiries. Kirk went radio silent for good. It dawned on me how easily he could toss me aside, how smoothly I'd slotted into his routine, and how fast he'd yank me out. One dusk, Mark laid it out plain. Grab your stuff. He delivered it calm, no venom. Like a choice long sealed. I pleaded, not from deep affection, but with zero other havens in sight. He offered two paths, slip away quiet or face the cops. I stuffed my bags. As I sealed the zipper, circled by walls that no longer whispered home, a core part of me finally shattered. Not ego, but my false dreams. I hadn't hunted real joy. I chased a quick getaway. And now, no safe spot waited ahead. Stepping out felt like a dream gone wrong. I lingered on the front steps, bag gripped tight, eyes locked on the entrance as if patience might swing it wide again. Mark stayed inside. No farewell. Not even a glance my way. That quiet chased me clear to my ride. I drove aimless at first. Rolled by roads I'd paraded clients down. By dwellings I'd pitched with flair and smiles, vowing new chapters and joyful closes. I mulled how many of those folks would still greet me warm if they glimpsed my true colors. Wound up crashing at my sibling's pad. She skipped the interrogations. Whispers had beaten me there. They spread like wildfire. She cleared her sofa for me. That initial evening, tears held back. I sprawled flat, fixed on the blank above, looping the saga in my thoughts, hunting that single slip where it derailed. Trouble was no lone instance stood out. Dozens piled up. Countless tiny greedy pics layered high till they squashed all below. Next dawn I peeked at my device. 0 from Kirk. No clue why I'd hoped. I ditched my ego and dialed him. It buzzed once, again, then hit recording. Skipped leaving words. I sensed the truth already. Later that morning an email pinged from my firm. Administrative hold, they said while they dug in. Buyers lodged gripes. Doubts swirled on my work ethics. My rep turned toxic. At first I pushed back. Claimed layers to the tail. That looks deceived. Pressure piled on. Errors occurred. Folks tuned out. Rule breakers get no ear for stories. They crave space. In weeks my deals shuffled to others. Work buddies ghosted texts. Event nods vanished. I faded in spots where cheers once rang. Mark pushed papers for split. No shock there. What floored me was the tidy wrap. He held proofs, logs, sequences. All laid out serene like a guy who'd mourned already and shifted to fixes. I angled for equity. He skipped debates. Let evidence talk. Swiped funds, room tabs, fling dates. Those pages mirrored me bare, minus alibis and spins. On record, I matched the image I'd dodged so hard. A lady who stabbed deep into full trust. The split sealed quicker than guessed. I bowed out of fights. Energy drained dry. Lost the pad, the stash, the bond, chunks of my hustle. Pride clung longest. For a stretch, I spun tails. Mark blew it big, crowds too rough, slips happen, luck turned sour. Then quiet eves deepened. Pals quit ringing. The crew I'd leaned on sailed ahead sans me. Drama repelled. Nobody craved ties to the gal whose world burst wide open. Regret crept in then. Not flashy movie style. The soft sort. The type that sneaks when you're solo in a lone space, thumbing aged snaps you can't trash. The type that sneaks in when you think back to Mark's daily coffees, made without a word or nudge. His quiet fixes around the place, never a single complaint. That reliable affection he showed, nothing flashy but always genuine and strong. I'd mixed up peace for something stale. Faithfulness for a sign of softness. I reached out to Mark just once. Only that single try. Told him I regretted it all, aware it fixed nothing at all. No begging for mercy. His response came back gentle and brief. He expressed hope that I'd gained wisdom from it and sent best wishes my way. That wrapped it up. No fury, no yearning, no door left ajar, just a firm close. It cut me deeper than any bitterness could. As for Kirk, bits of news filtered through common friends. He'd already jumped to something new. A different woman, a brand new chapter. His rhythm hardly skipped a beat. Mine came to a grinding halt. I landed a simple role far from property sales. Low wages, no glamour at all, just straightforward effort. The very kind I'd once turned my nose up at. On certain days, the temptation to point fingers elsewhere bubbles up. On others, it fades. Now, my own role in it all stands out crystal clear. No one locked me in. No one ignored me. No one left me helpless. It was all pure selfishness steering me forward. I went after rushes of excitement and branded it as ambition. Craved approval from others and disguised it as true romance. Exploited someone's deep belief in me and convinced myself I had every right to it. The downfall hit me with a lesson way too late. Better to learn it early. You don't drop it all in one big crash. Instead, it slips away little by little, with every choice where you put yourself above your own principles. If you're hearing this and tempted to step over that boundary because of restlessness, feeling alone, or just a fleeting curiosity, don't dress up the consequences as something exciting. Starting fresh hurts bad when you're the one who lit the match. I'm not here hunting for your compassion. If this raw tale of betrayal, regret, and hard lessons pulled you in from start to finish, show it some love by smashing that like button, hit subscribe to Dark Infidelity Stories, 4 more gripping stories of love turned toxic, and share this with someone who might need the wake-up call. Your support keeps these eye-opening confessions coming.